hey, let's watch a show together.
He doesn't need to make money off of social media. Because really, how much money is he gonna make? You've got to be, I don't know how to say this without being rude, but interesting. Like, he doesn't have charisma. And you know what? Michael blocked me on Instagram, so maybe his plan to be an influencer and make money off of social media is a cover-up.
Yeah, I don't need to talk about. Oh, boy. The way she's talking, it sounds like maybe they've broken up, which I have to say, as a citizen, there's a bit of a relief, but I don't know. Often they stay together, and I'm not going to judge anyone, but.
The only reason my husband Michael would block me is because he's flirting with women. Would I have married you if you were talking to women on Instagram? Would I have married you? Yes or no?
So just think about that question. What she's basically asking is, would I have married you if you had an Instagram account where you were famous and a lot of people were commenting, some of them happen to be women? I think that's what she's saying, because that's what's happening. There's no evidence that he's flirting, whereas there is documented evidence that she is 100% flirting with a very specific person in Canada.
No. Yeah. So why the you think you can do it now?
Saying, I am not flirting.
You're not gonna do it no more?
Okay, sit down.
I hate that Michael's got my mind thinking all these kind of ways, but he's making me connect the dots on my own because he's not going to tell me the truth. And the fact that he won't hand me over his phone is definitely making me more suspicious.
You sound so, let me put it this way, it sounds...
Right, so we'll add that to the list of total control is also I want total control over your phone, total control over your car, total control over everything you own. I want you to shut down your Instagram. I don't want you to have any power, any connection, any friends, any money. I don't, we'll add that to the list of total control.
So selfish.
Oh, it sounds...
Yeah. At the same time, the TikTok, you were online, duetting a man, like flirting.
Interesting. I didn't even know that it was public. So maybe y'all knew that. But so he has seen it. It was public. She was doing it publicly. Well, I knew she was doing it semi-publicly because they're filming it, but that doesn't air until maybe months later, like a year later sometimes. So, but it was a TikTok. It was public.
You never told me you will be duetting so person. But if I was the one doing such, I know...
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I explode. Can I tell you why I did that?
Why?
It started out 2 and 3 videos to get your attention. I've lost weight. You ain't asked to see my boobs. You ain't asked to see my cooch. You ain't asked to see nothing. You don't tell me you love me. And I seen this guy. He's sexy.
Yeah, I don't have to comment on how ridiculous that is. So under that logic, let's say I feel a little neglected by my wife, and so I cheat on her. And then my wife confronts me, and I'm like, well, you haven't complimented me lately, so you're to blame. Now, I don't know, but if this season has any representational power over what's been happening, she's been screaming at him the entire time and not letting him even say a word, through their phone chats, and he blocked her, I think, because she was verbally abusing him the entire time online. So the fact that he hasn't complimented you, it might be a function of that. I don't know. I'm being sarcastic. It's not okay.
Because like this, I can't trust you. You broke trust too many times. Michael, I want to say this, and then you can talk. Guess what a secret is to you, Michael, you don't know? Your visa is about here.
Angie.
Oh, you smiled.
Angie.
Lou said you're about here. And you know what he told me also? If we're having problems now with you doing this IG, you knew that would upset me. File for divorce. Pull the visas.
I don't even understand what she's saying. She's saying your visa is what?
I'll say this, and then you can talk. Guess what a secret is to you, Michael, you don't know? Your visa is about here.
Your visa is about here? Meaning your visa is almost arriving? Is that what she's saying?
Angie.
Oh, you smiled.
Angie.
Lou said you're about here. And you know what he told me also? If we're having problems now with you doing this IG, you knew that would upset me. File for divorce. Pull the visas.
I don't understand what she's speaking English, but I don't understand what 500 what? 500 worse? I mean, I think she's a little intoxicated, so what are you going to do? But I don't know. It probably doesn't matter.
Talk like that because of Instagram. Come on.
No, that's what you need to ask yourself. If your heart ain't in it for you and me, I want no part of it.
So remember, the ask is control. If he gives over control, she will stop yelling temporarily. If he doesn't, we're going to see an escalation, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Talk like that.
No.
Don't talk me.
You either put Instagram down because you want to, because you love me, and it's hurting me.
Of course, I do love you.
So I've heard this language before. If you love me, you will not talk to your family anymore. If you love me, you will quit your job. So this is just general abusive relation. If you love me, you would have sex with me whenever I want you to have sex with me. If you love me, you would stop talking. If you loved me, you would hand over all your money to me. If you loved me, it never stops, and that is how they see it. That is, they're not lying. Now, if they're a psychopathic sadist, then they are lying because they are doing that. Now, without getting into the weeds in terms of the Venn diagrams, but there's some people that are very manipulative and they know they're being a con artist, but the vast majority of abusive people, they actually believe if you love me, you would get rid of the Instagram because that's how it feels to them. But they have a very distorted view of what secure love is. And they also have a very distorted view about their entitlement.
Then you show me. For Michael to prove to me that he loves me and is not a scammer, he'll take that damn Instagram down. Because it has always caused problems and he needs to show his wife that I'm more important than material. And I want him to do it because he sees what it's causing in our relationship.
I mean, it is classic. This is helpful. I'm glad that Angela's, well, I mean, I'm not glad, but if we're going to make lemonade out of lemons, then we can point to just classic representations of an abusive relationship. So let's rewind that.
Cause problems, and he needs to show his wife that I'm more important than material. And I want him to do it because he sees what it's causing in our relationship.
Just classic. They will say, see what you're doing. So the abusive person will say to the victim, look what you're doing to us. Look what you've done. And if you're gaslit, you'll start to believe that you did something when you did nothing. You just had an Instagram account. That's all you had. You were trying to make some, honest money. That's all you did. And you blocked her when she was being extremely abusive online. You didn't stop talking to her, but you blocked her on a DM situation or something. I don't know. And that's all you did. But what the abusive people is, when they calm down, and it's often in that cycle, they'll start to get in this zone where they're just like pleading, just be like, oh, I mean, look at what you did. If you just and with Amaranth, there were moments like this too. It'd just be like, don't you understand how easy this would be? If you just did X, Y, and Z, all this would be over. I mean, look what you've done. You're so stubborn. I mean, it is, as I say it out loud, I mean, it is chilling to the bone. Ooh. And I don't know if that's what's happening right now. I can never know because who knows how they're editing this or whatever. But I can only say if you wanted to teach a class on a very common profile of an abusive relationship, well, you don't have to look far for examples.
I'm going to give you time to think because I'm getting ready to go. I'll give you 2 a.m.
Wait.
No. You sit here and think about it. If you want to be an opportunist.
So notice that he barely was able to say anything. Barely at all. She let him say just a couple things that were very obvious, and now she's drawing the line of sand. She's like, we all understand that unless you give me, put whatever in the blank there that means total control, then we're done, because that's the only thing I'm looking for is total control. I'm not looking for anything else. I can't say that out loud because that sounds bad. So I'm going to use all these other words and all these other gestures as a way of trying to establish that and trying to throw you off the scent. But that's really what I'm looking for, total control.
You be that, but you won't be it with me. You know what you got to do.
The ultimatum is sickening. It can't be away all the time.
I'm gone, Mike.
And often for the victim, they have a heart. They're within normal limits. They're altruistic. Now, sometimes they have a lot of abusive histories going back to when they're children, and they have a hard time connecting with their feelings and knowing their rights. But even for people not with those histories, when you are not used to it and you don't know what to, but even then, when you are kind of used to, even when you know what to look for, it just feels bad to be bothering someone. The abusive people will prey on you in this way. They will manipulate you either knowingly or unknowingly to engage with your normal, good, big-hearted altruism that a lot of people have, perhaps most people have. Someone is falling apart at the seams. That's the sort of title of the book, right? It's like, because I have an Instagram account, my wife, my partner, is having a really rough time. There's a lot of detail there, of course, and that I could fill in, but really, if you boil it down, that's what it is. And so I could make my partner, even if we break up, I could make them happier and relaxed if I just cancel. It's just delete my Instagram account. It's kind of a big deal, but it's not that big. I could do that, and I could give this gift to this person. And so every step of the way in terms of more and more control, that's the decision point that you often run into. And you're just like, well, I don't know, it's just an Instagram account. It's just that one friend, who knows? It's just Christmas with my family. I don't need that. My partner doesn't like me hanging out with my family. There's always next year, or I have other friends, or who needs family? Every step of the way, it's like there's this Y in the road. I can stand my ground over what might be kind of like a minor thing, because every step of the way is a minor thing, but when you add up all the steps, it's a major step, right? But it's like, Instagram, it wasn't really making me that much money anyway. I don't know if it ever would have. So, it's not that big of a deal. And look how much suffering that she's going through. I'm pretty sure that's all her, but, it's just easier that way.
Let me take you to...
No, I got it.
Babe.
I'll see you tomorrow. I won't.
It took so long to get an update about my visa. But what's the point of going to America and having her treat me this way there too?
Yeah, God, I really hope that he holds on to that. Does he hold on to that?
I want my voice to be heard. I don't want to be a silent partner. Sometimes I just feel I should just let go of everything and just both of us should move on with our lives. I'm getting tired of it all, honestly.
Okay, so he's, I don't know. Sometimes they throw us a loop. They throw us for a loop. What's the say? And they'll have these kinds of interview moments, and then you're like, oh, seems to be going this direction, and then they give us a twist. All right, well, that does it for that episode, and everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.